Okay, so today we're talking about factoring, and this is just finding the GCF. So whenever we factor, that's what we should look for first, is if they have a GCF. So if I look at number one, you have the coefficients in blue, and then like your exponents and terms are in red. So if I look at the first part, the 5x cubed minus 20x squared, okay, I'm going to look at the blue, the coefficients first. Okay, what number do they have in common? And that is a 5. Okay, then I look at the x cubed and x squared. So this one has 3 x's, this one has 2. So they share 2 x's, which is just x squared. And then that is my GCF, is 5x squared. Okay, so then when I go to take them out and factor it out, okay, well, if I do 5 divided by 5, that's just 1. If I take away 2 x's, I'm left with just 1. And then if I do 20 divided by 5, that's 4. And if I take away 2 x's, I'm done. Okay, and that can just be written as 5x squared times x minus 4. Okay, those are the same thing. Okay, so on number 2, if you notice that the first term doesn't have a coefficient, but there is an 1 that is in front of that. Okay, so common factor of 1 and 2, obviously just 1. Okay, then I look at the number of x's. This one has 3. This one has 2, so they share 2 x's, which is just x squared. So my GCF is x squared. Okay, if I take away 2 x's, I'm left with just x. So I take away 2 x's, and I'm left with minus 2. Okay, all right, if I look at my third one, okay, so let's look at our coefficients first. So the 6 and the 10. A factor that they share, so my greatest factor that they share is going to be a 2. And then if I look at the number of x's, this one has 2, this one has 1, so they just share 1. So my GCF is 2x. Pull that out. Okay, so if I do 6 divided by 2, that's 3. I took 1x away, so that's 3x. And then if I do 10 divided by 2, that's 5. And I took 1x away, so that's just 3x plus 5. Okay, if you need to check your answer to see if you got it correct, use the distributive factor. So you do 2x times 3x, and then you do 2x times 5. Okay, so 2x times 3x, 6x squared, and then 2x times 5 is 10x. Double check that these match, and if they do, you got it correct. Okay, number 4. So I have a 1, a 8, and a 1. So the factor that they all share is a 1. And then for the x's, this one has 4. This one has 3. And this one has 2. Okay, so if I look at the number of x's that they share, they all have at least 2. So that is what I'm going to be pulling out is x squared. So out of the first term, I take 2 out. I'm left with 2. I didn't do anything with the coefficients, but I did take 2 x's out, so I'm left with 1. And if I take everything out of that term, I'm left with just a 1. Okay, number 5, so 12 and 18. So not just the common factor, the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor of that is going to be 6. And then the number of x's that they share, this one has 2, that one has 1, so they just share 1. So my GCF is 6x. Okay, so I do 12 divided by 6, that's 2. I take one of the x's out, I'm left with 1. And then 18 divided by 6 is 3, and I pull one of those x's out, so that's what I'm left with. Again, if you're not confident in your answers, just check them and see if they match using the distributive property. Okay, and then the last one, so let's look at the coefficients first. So 10, 25, and 15, they all share a 5. Okay, then the number of x's, this one has 2, 1, and 0, so I cannot take an x out. Okay, so I am going to just pull that 5 out. 10 divided by 5 is 2. I didn't do anything with the x's, so 25 divided by 5 is 5, and then 15 divided by 5 is 3. All right, and we are done with GCF.